What's up everyone, and good to see you. And I'm really happy that you're interested in a behind the scenes look of one of my recent projects with Samsung. And let's jump right in. I'm using Adobe After Effects here, and there is a lot going on in my timeline. So you can see we have some layers here, and within After Effects you can create pre-compositions. So each of this layer here include some more layers. It can be videos, shapes, overlays, or all sorts of different layer types. So the video starts with that jump. That jump actually goes through a phone. So I actually mask out myself here. This is in this pre-comp. I mask out myself with rotoscoping, and then if I single this layer, you can see here I'm masked out, and then I'm jumping through a phone, and when I hit the ground here, I'm cutting to another layer. So here are a couple effects going on. This one with holding the phone, where I go through is a single layer itself, where I just mask out the phone, and then zoop, it just goes away. And since I speed up my clips in the main timeline here, all of those effects are not really that visible because everything happens really fast. So I work in a own composition to create all those effects, and this composition baked together, I then speed up here this way with time remapping. So here you can see the speed graph. So let me jump back in and show you the other layers here. So here this mask goes here through the rotoscope, and then I have some kind of jitter effect going on. This doesn't look too good here in the normal playback, but if you see it sped up here in the main timeline, I think that looks pretty cool, and it actually reacts to the music. It's super important. I always take care of my effects that I actually match the beat, the music I'm editing to, because this is just making the overall experience watching the video just so amazing. So you see here that jitter effect, just like that. I think that's super epic. I love it. And then we go right into the landing, and then I'm flipping up the phone and I'm falling towards the camera. Boom, just like that. And I think this shot took us some takes, but I think it turned out pretty good because I wanted to highlight the phone and the screen with the cameras. And I've also added the text here in 3D space. So you can see here, I 3D tracked my clip and then added the text here, and I even added the shadows here on the floor as well. So just to make a little bit more realistic. It's all about the details, guys. And here those elements are 3D tracked, and the 3D track is here on that clip. That is a 3D camera tracker, which actually tracks the camera movement, so you can play stuff in 3D space, such as the text here. And the text contains actually 3 layers. So we have a soft shadow, a drop shadow here with electrify effect on it, and we have an outline effect. I think I need to zoom in. We can actually see what's happening. You see here an outline effect, and the main white layer is here. So I just duplicated this layer and just played around with some of those effects. And then we have that cool eye transition here into the eye. Boom, just like that. The motion gets freezed, and then we have that camera motion inside the eye. Here I mask out the eye, as you can see here. That looks super complex, but in general here it's just a mask. I used Mocha for that, and here it's pretty easy to mask in Mocha. In Mocha you can just draw a mask, which can be any shape, such as a circle, and I just tracked it and masked it out. So this is for the eye transition, and everything sped up looks then something like that. And that is this full clip here, that comp, bringing the motion just like that. And there's one more thing I've added here is an overlay. So I screen recorded the UI of the phone and then overlaid the UI. So it's just a screen record. I just mask out that screen here, as you can see here when I turn off the mask. This is the screen record. I just mask out the part I wanted to use, this one here, and I just overlaid it with the blending mode screen, as you can see here. And then it looks something like that. And I've added a little bit of glow just to make it pop more. So the next sequences are actually just speed ramps with tracking to the phone, where I want to showcase it's such an incredible selfie phone. It's like it's made for taking selfies. So I wanted to highlight that we're sitting in different kind of locations, doing different kind of things, and taking selfies while having a drink, actually being at some locations. And I think that turned out really nice. So I did actually use the 3D tracker here as well to actually track those scenes, because those are quite complex. Those scenes here, this one in particular, that one goes around me. So that was the wrong layer. Here we have the layer. So this is the clip without any speed ramping, without changing the speed, and already stabilized. So you can see here, boom, we go in with the camera, then we turn around. And if you speed those clips up, if they're hyper stabilized, those look so cool with adding motion blur. Motion blur is key, guys. So here we can jump into the depths of the clip. So this is the original clip. So we have some shakes going on. And the way I tracked it was I 3D tracked the whole camera movement, like you have here. 3D tracked it. Then I created a solid, those solids actually, here, those ones, and this one. And I then just tracked the solids with the stabilized motion tracker inside After Effects, which is epic. So if you now go one comp back here, you can see there's only those solids visible. So this way I can track a 360 orbit around my subject, around me in that case. So I just tracked that one here, and you have here the keyframes for the stabilized motion tracker. I just applied it, and then it's stabilized. This might sound complicated now, but this is a really sick technique to track and stabilize shots that are actually moving around a subject. So hopefully that helps. I did the same for the other clip as well. And then you can see here, I again time remapped that clip, created some speed ramps. This way we go in, turn around, boom, go back in motion. And with both clips moving around the subject, we can really simple make a transition one to another, because it's just matching the movement so smooth like that. We're just in the next shot, just like that. And here it's the same with the UI. So just screen recorded the UI from Samsung and then added a glow effect and overlaid it with the blending mode screen. So let's jump to the next shot here. This one was quite challenging, to be honest, because I had to 3D track the screen. I took this shot with my helmet rigged with a Sony FX3 camera, and guys, this was crazy. So here you have the original shot. Let me show you. This is the original shot. So I had to track the screen to place something on the screen, and since we have a lot of movement going on with the helmet, with the camera, this is a quite hard scene to track, but it worked out. It took some time, but it worked out, and it worked out great. And I couldn't use the actual camera because I was wearing this big helmet with the camera on top, right? So I would see myself with the helmet, what I want to avoid. So what I did, I tracked this one like crazy. So when we jump here on the main clip, we jump into Mocha again. Mocha is really crazy for tracking surfaces. And now here you can see the track. So some of those keyframes I did manually, some of them, yeah, actually Mocha did a pretty good job, but here you can see the surface is tracked just like that, and I could mask out certain parts and then place myself with an additional recording, which I actually did. So when we jump inside the screen here, which we can see here, like this is called the inside screen, I placed that one inside. I actually took a shot with the Galaxy and tried to match the movement as best as possible, so I can later then place that shot inside the screen, if that makes sense. So that one was quite challenging, and here I wanted to add some more motion, because here the beat goes like dag like that. It goes up. So I wanted to showcase the feature that you can take a lot of photos, because you usually take not just one photo, right? Since we have digital cameras or a phone which is capable of taking so much photos, we take a few photos to later pick the best one. So I wanted to highlight this one as well. And then those jump back, roof, inside the cam, and then I've just added some text tracked again. Since I had a track of the phone already, I could just add text as well. And here just the screen UI did exactly the same for the top bar. Here it's just a screenshot. of the UI, just added some glow effect, and that's it. And just tracked it to the phone. And I just added a small animation to the text so it smoothly comes in, and that's about that shot. And then we go into the next one, and you can see here throughout the edit I have some shakes going on. Here, those are just shakes with motion tile and turbulent displacement and directional blur, and those just help. You can see here it warps through. If I turn those off, it's not, it's clean, but I like, if something happens with power, I want to have a shake to enhance it visually, right? So I think those shakes really help. And here as well for the transition, it just helps. Boom. So we have that shot here. Since it's the flex cam, you can just like place the phone on the floor, which is epic. Otherwise you always have to find something to lay your phone against, and it's just it's so much easier if you can just flip the phone and place it on the floor, and to take a photo with the front camera of yourself and actually seeing yourself within this front screen. It's just epic. So I wanted to highlight that. So I placed the phone on the location, and now we have the inside camera view. And here I duplicated myself a couple of times to show that you can do like flex cam, you can do a handstand, you can point at something, you can take cool videos and photos, and you actually see yourself while doing this. So I thought this effect could be pretty cool. It was just shot on a tripod, so I could just mask out myself in those shots. So this one is the one here, again speed ramped, and here you can see I just mask out myself a couple of times. So here you can see all the single layers, so I just mask out myself here, a little bit of dirty mask, and also the shadow, because shadows are also important. Mask them out as well if you do effects like that. Here I mask out the jump, and I just singled all of the layers to stitch them then together. And here is a chromatic effect, and those chromatic displacement effect I think is pretty impactful. I wanted then to have a clean loop towards the end, and since the first shot at the beginning is a shot from the ground up to the sky, I thought it would be pretty cool to take the flex cam, the flip phone again, and place it on the floor to then have a clean loop. So I had to somehow appear and take the phone without taking too much time, because you're doing social media content, right? So everything has to be fast paced. So I came up with the idea just to create a chromatic displacement effect here. I think this one is pretty cool. I just rotoscoped myself and used myself as a mask for the effect, so a gradient layer. So I can choose here the rotoscope of myself walking towards. For the effect, it's a displacement layer. So I choose this one as a displacement layer, or the displacement of the effect only applies where the layer is at. So this way you can create this effect. Then I just fade this effect out, boom, take the camera and place it on the floor. And then I just literally placed it on the ground, and then just jumped over it and tried to do the coolest jump possible. And I think this frame is pretty sick, and it turned out really well. And then it loops into the beginning. So we have to jump here, and yes, that's it for the breakdown. I hope you took something away from it, that gives you a behind the scenes of how I create my videos. And if you're interested in more tutorials and how to create videos in general, make sure to check out my page. And thank you Samsung for this amazing collaboration. It was a lot of fun, and the product is just amazing. So that's it for this one. See you soon.